Okay. Boys from Manchester Chevron, are you ready for the final? Freespeed, are you ready for the final?
We're just getting the announcements from the field level. We're back. We haven't gone anywhere. It is the finals, the big final, the last final, the open final. Tom's Tourney, Bruges, Belgium.
We have a half
the
time.
27th year of this classic tournament, and we've got ourselves a high-class match lined up today. Chevron action flash.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, time
it's Freespeed from Switzerland. I'm Stefan Rapazzo, joined with Ravi Vasudevan. Ravi, take us into what we got in front of us as Winder lays out for the first throw.
We got two big teams here, both teams. I think Chevron has come into this game undefeated, as Freespeed did take one loss to Devon, another UK team earlier on in the tournament. Freespeed have looked really good since then, though. A lot of their star players on their O-line, but here their D-line trying to put that famous Freespeed four-man cup and slow this Chevron team down as Joe Winder gets things going for Chevron.
Winds it up as he tends to do. The aggressive zone against Winder, and he gets a hand block.
Simon van Wartburg.
Freespeed with a short field in front of them to kick things off in this final. Huge roster for Freespeed. Gets the around, a little bit of contact with the ground, but it must have been through his hands for Ola. But Bennett wants a discussion about it. He's calling down outright.
It definitely hit the ground pretty hard. I'm not sure if he had it gripped before that happened or not.
That's exactly it. We've got another look right now.
This angle might be hard to see. Can't see anything on that one.
Camera's not quick enough to catch it. But some adamacy that it was down, contested.
Contested down call here. He'll be coming back in on a high stall count.
Freespeed. Set it into play. Oh, and the disc doesn't lie that time. Dropped by Ola. And Chevron going the other way. Kine, Winder. Freespeed getting back into their zone as Winder rips a hammer too far past Sam Turner. A couple sloppy turns to start this game. See if they get the jitters out. Behind the disc. Sekinga. What a bid, a foul called. It was an excellent looking bid from my perspective.
I really don't think I saw any contact there, but a bit of a complaint there from the Freespeed player. Let's see on this on the replay. Here we see there's the play.
Oh, I thought that was good body contact.
It looked clean at this level. That's the kind of P that I would expect to be called fair, but Freespeed calling a foul here.
Shot deep. He's got to receive a Winder playing defense too far out the back into the crowd. Winder races it back to the line, not wanting to waste any time here.
Not wanting that big four-man cup to set up on him.
Bennett.
Now Freespeed have broken through. Can they continue that energy?
Ollie with the disc beyond midfield. Chevron on the front foot. Kine gets it back. Looks for Coldhammer, but opts out and finds Douglas Ollie for the goal. 1-0. Chevron score first. It's a hold at the end of the day. But a couple chances for both sides throughout the point, Ravi.
Freespeed does have to feel good about that point a little bit. They managed to get 2 turns off of that Chevron team. And eventually it took Winder sprinting back to get things going before Freespeed set the cup that allowed them to have the momentum to score that point. Doug Ollie there cleaning things up for Chevron. They got to be a little frustrated with that, but they're going to get the point nonetheless. 1-0 for the boys in blue. Back in action here is we're going to see Freespeed's O-line come out for the first time this game. We see the likes of Pitrian de Molinara stepping onto the field. Toby Von Barson with the disc over to Luca Miglioretto as Chevron come out with a zone of their own.
The wind is helping make these decisions. Chevron trying to put the pressure on, trying to trap on this sideline for sure. Van Bassen in his end zone. Cross field, Miglioretto tipped, bobbled, and right into the hands for an interception. Chevron, Martin Hall.
Timeout.
Timeout, early timeout, second point of the game.
That's a high stall timeout right in front of the end zone. Not exactly what you want to be doing. Allowing the defense to clamp down as hard as they can. A few seconds on the stall. Not a great position for Chevron. They might be squandering this opportunity.
A optimal situation to be able to get that bobble into an interception with a very short field in front of you. Difficult to find that stall count mounting, but this could bite them. Not having a timeout later in the game affects their clock management, but it could prove genius if they get this goal, I suppose, and get the early break to go up 2-0.
I'm not sure how the timeout rules change in the finals, if they get more of them or not. There is a difference in the cap rules, that it's a cap +2 here in the Tom's Tourney finals compared to the no cap in the previous editions.
Which completely changes everything. It's it used to be the no cap was a 50-minute game, it was a short game, get a small lead and protect it. Now it's not. It's a regular style of finish. It's +2. There's plenty of time. You don't have to go on an or a scoreless run to win. You can concede a goal and still, 3 of 4, 2 of 3, and still get a win and drag a game out.
And you always got a chance. You got to score to win. So as long as your defense gets out there. But now here early on in this game, 1-0 still for Chevron as they have a chance to make an early break and make a decisive early play here at Tom's Tourney 2019.
Let's see what they've got set up.
The wind is picking up in a big way here. It's coming in and out this game. Sun's around from time to time. Right now a bit cloudy.
Martin Hall will put it into play.
The wind is coming towards the camera pretty much, crosswind.
No indication of what the stall count's coming in at, but it's moved right away to Penny. Penny, that's high. D is gonna get a chance, 2 chances. And after the play, a collision between Dixon and Brutalin. But they are happy to rub that one off. Now they're talking, was there contact at the point of play?
We're going to see here if we can get a replay on that. In my eyes, that was not. It's going to be retracted, and now it's going to be in Freespeed's hands. I think that's the right call here. I think Brutalin got in front, and if anything, the Chevron player collided to him, but that's an unfortunate drop there from Toby Von Barson, the captain of the Swiss national team.
Very unfortunate. You don't like dropping discs anywhere on the field, but particularly not in your own end zone. Now Chevy again. Martin Hall pops it forward. Dixon for the goal. They get the early break. 2-0 Chevron.
And what a confident cut there from Dixon. Just a complete sprint to the cone, and Bush just couldn't keep up with him, ended up turning his back. You can't give up the front cone. That's the one thing you have to protect when you're doing end zone defense, and Bush just couldn't do that with the athletic figure of Dixon, just running towards it. Chevron 2-0 here up a break. And Freespeed have got to be frustrated with that point. They had 2 possessions, and both of them they lost very quickly and in their defending end zone.
Yeah, worst case scenario kind of possessions, but that said, it's behind them now. That's an early game. You get that out of you. Hopefully, whatever, if you can chalk that up to jitters or nerves, that's done. You've seen it happen. Tighten the belt, fill the lungs, do it this time, get it back, switch the tides.
We do see pretty much the same exact line going out there on Freespeed's side, at least. We do see the big figure of Rolosax Dixon coming out on the Chevron D line, though. So they're switching things up a little bit.
Could get a Dixon de Molinari matchup that everybody would love to see that one in the air.
That pull's going to go out in front of the halfway point. Not a great position for Chevron.
That's about as weak of a pull as I've seen all weekend. They saved it for the final.
Van Barsen choosing to take the brick, giving up about 15, 20 yards on that.
Maybe a bit less than that. I'd say more the 10 to 15 range. But to get the center position, yeah, I'll take it. I don't want to be stuck on this sideline.
15's a lot, man.
Yards, meters. There's the hammer, the zone breaker. Breaks it right open on the front foot. Bush, Van Barsen, Brutalin.
That was Marco Elminger catching that big hammer. You know, Freespeed loves the hammers.
Well, that one just blew the lid off of that zone. Now let's see what their end zone setup looks like.
I'm not sure what the call was here, but something stopped play.
Back at it, Brutalin engages his dump, gets Miglioretto. He winds up back to Brutalin. Pop over to Miglioretto. Hammer, other way, they do love their hammers. And they score to Elminger. Freespeed answer the bell. Hold their next point and down by 1.
Luca Miglioretto, the man who loves the upside down throws. We're going to see a lot more of those from him if Chevy's going to keep playing defense like that. 2-1 as Freespeed finally get themselves on the board. Still down 1 break to Chevron.
2 Chevron, 1 Freespeed. The game is on.
Freespeed puts the pull into play after holding their offensive possession, after giving up an early break winder to Kine. Kinda winder, that's kinder.
Freespeed coming out here and do a bit of a arrowhead zone.
Get some forward action there to Ollie. Scored himself a goal already in this competition. Now the big man, Colthammer, moves forward to Turner. And a travel or pick? I think it must be a travel.
Not sure, travel wouldn't have stopped play, so I'm not sure what exactly there was there.
Turner to Kime. Gets a breaker and a winder. Now to the end zone, that one counts, nice and easy. Ollie again, rather Turner scoring the goal. 3-1 Chevy.
Really smooth offense there from Chevy. Freespeed was completely on the back foot the entire time. This is what I was seeing before in Freespeed's D-line, a bit more green than their O-line. Not as many experienced guys playing at this level for as long. And eventually it might take them stacking their lines a bit to be able to come back into this game. But right now they got to keep their holds coming and trust their D-line for a little bit longer before they decide to make that switch, as we see Freespeed's traditional O-line get back out there again.
Yeah, no emergencies yet. Recognize the score, of course. You know what's going to have to happen at some stage, but trying to get there calmly is the mentality at this stage of the game. As those minutes dwindle and a little bit more urgency arises, then you start throwing the house out of throwing the kitchen sink to try and get that turn. For now, stick to the plan. Chevy pull.
And let's see how many hammers we see on this point from Freespeed.
Van Barsen kicks things off. Miglioretto, he likes them upside down, as I've just learned and Ravi knows full well. Miglioretto again. In the middle of the zone, PJ de Molinari.
Hometown hero here, actually a Bruges native.
If Freespeed wins, it's an all Belgium championships, is that right?
Not the open div 2, not the open div 2.
All right, Van Bassen moves the disc along. Neve. PJ gets stepped in front. Bevan, wily move and sticks it right away. Nobody there except Dixon. The trailing defense was way behind from Mushawek.
Dixon's athleticism has impressed me a lot this tournament. I didn't know him that much as a player before, but he's definitely made a name for himself in my eyes, making huge defensive plays in the semis, making huge offensive plays here for Chevron. Dixon brings the score to 4-1 in Chevron's favor. Just a little bit, didn't see the poach there. Gonna see the pass.
Mushawek not happy as soon as it left his hands. There's Bevan putting the big veteran backhand out. Even though Mushawek was closing a bit of ground, there was no catching Dixon there. He was off to the races way earlier than anybody was recognizing.
Chevron definitely has the athleticism edge on Freespeed here. Freespeed might have a bit of throwing prowess edge. They can win with that, win with their creativity, win with their throws, but I think it's going to be really hard for them to generate defensive pressure on this Chevron team. They're just trailing behind every time I see them try to play defense.
Finding ways. Let's see how this game plays out, but you're right, it does seem the Chevy boys are athletically superior at this stage of the game. Miglioretto to De Molinari. Miglioretto. Still a zone from Chevy, and Van Worsen had to hold on to that one with two hands tight again. Miglioretto throws. What a great one-handed pickup, but brutal, and now De Molinari and Freespeed got out of their end zone in style, and now looking to see what they can do in the attacking end. Van Worsen trying to generate a dump, but falls on the ground, and now they're really in tight. Bush centers. Miglioretto goes upside down backhand on that. Wasn't even a scooper, and that one was errant and ill-advised with the poor execution. Chevy other way. Martin Hall. Bevan. Surveys options. The mark trying to force him to this near sideline. Bit of a trap style mark. Martin Hall still goes all the way around, but there's a pick before he releases.
I think Robin Brunelin is also calling a foul on the thrower, saying that he threw through the mark there.
Working it out, handshake there, chest tap, on we go.
No, I guess that was not the call, as the disc is staying.
Schmoker sets it into play and gets it back. Davin, Schmoker, going through the hands of Chevy. Davin again. Martin Hall nearing midfield with the freshly painted TT. Hodgett. Martin Hall, rather. Now moves it up to Martin. Morgan. Fires, Bevan. End zone situation, hammer the other way. Davin's all alone and throws a very easy looking score to Martin Hall to go up 5-1.
Chevron just walking away with this one right now. I think they're just superior athleticism, superior skill, and forcing Freespeed to do some difficult things. That throw from Miglioretto, he's usually good with the upside down passes. That one just didn't work out. You see Freespeed's gonna take a timeout here, try and reset things and start this game over, because if they keep doing what they're doing, Chevy's, this is gonna be a pretty short final.
Yeah, pretty short final indeed. At this rate, we're talking 10-2, 15-3. We can't have that. Just won't be allowed. But yeah, Miglioretto trying to be a little bit too creative there. I love the scoobers, the hammers. We all love the spectacular throws. But I think he's got to get the eyes on it first, make sure about it, and release it with a bit more poise than that last one.
We saw the big hammer where he got up to Brutalin to break the zone open. I think that was a great one.
That was a good one.
It was a hard catch.
Every spectacular catch comes on the heels of a mediocre throw.
Yeah, but that connection of Miglioretto to Brutalin, if you've been following Freespeed Ultimate for the last 10 years, they know what they're doing with each other. That's the kind of throw they've practiced time and time again for years now. I'm feeling pretty good about that one, and he just completely, I think, must have slipped out of his hand or something about that throw that came way lower than he wanted when he went to go for that score. We'll see if they can clean things up here, Freespeed, because they got a lot of work to do. 5-1's a big hole to come back from, but as we said, there is a cap, proper cap here, so they will have a cap +2, I believe, regardless of what the score difference is. So they always have a chance to come back, but it's going to require a lot, because even if they start to get their offense clicking, they're going to have to find a way to stop the Chevron offense as well with their defense, and that's something that I can't really see Freespeed doing too easily. As I said, their D-line doesn't really have the athleticism to handle Chevron at the moment.
At this rate, Chevy might be looking to, the only way to end things quick is to get to that points cap that we don't see too much of here at Tom's Tourney with the short game format. But if they get to 15 before a Hooter, then they can just put it all away. But that's asking a lot. But again, at this rate, it's something we might even think about.
All right, we'll see Chevron. The timeout is now over. Chevron getting ready to pull. Freespeed trying to find some new life, some new blood here in this game.
Penny set to pull. Freespeed with the tight shoulder to shoulder.
We see PJ has come off the O-line now. Van Barsen, Nukla, Miglioretto, Brutalin, Bush still all there. That's a very good pull.
Fantastic. I'd take another 5 meters and keep them right in the end zone, but they go there with their first dump pass anyways. Miglioretto.
Now they're all the way back at the back of their end zone. There's the scuba.
And there is the big hammer. 2 of them there, and he can't handle it. Elmiger lets it hit off the hands. It was a beautiful throw. And they're just giving Chevy more opportunities that they cannot afford to be given.
Chevy here with an opportunity to bring things to 6-1. There's the big shot, and that's going to work. 6-1 now for Chevron action flash.
Marky Simpson cashes that one in, and it just hurts so much more when they do it in one throw.
Great hammer there from Luca Miglioretto. I think that's the right option to break open that Chevron zone. They're not going to get through those big bodies, and they have the thrower in Luca, but you just got to catch those, man. Nothing else to say.
Yeah, here it is again. There was a beautiful throw. If he would have left it on that flight path, his teammate may have had it too. There's the goal.
But he should have caught it still. I mean, he shouldn't let that go. He had a good, angle on it.
But I mean, if he's going to drop it, he might as well let it go to the next guy. But I suppose that wasn't part of his planning as the disc was coming at him. A hot playlist here at Tom's Tourney. Vanilla Ice taking us back to the early 90s.
This tournament, of course, started in 1992. Maybe we're getting a lot of that music from that era.
It could be in there. It's a generational playlist from the beginning of Tom's Tourney, or what was the Belgium International Tournament, I believe, back then, or Bruges International Tournament. Stops the roll. Miglioretto. Van Warsen gets the defense shifted, and then Mulignari can't catch up to the Mashavek pass that goes to turf. Popped in. Goodness gracious, Martin Hall to Morgan. Chevron are already eating the cake by the looks of things here.
That spike, I'm not sure I agree with that spike. You just scored because they had a bad throw. Take it easy there, Chevron. But they're keeping their energy going. 7-1 here. They do deserve this. They're just completely outplaying Freespeed right now. And this is the kind of frustrating thing. Freespeed have a team of 28 people here, right? And they're just sending pretty much the same O-line out 6 points in a row. That's got to be frustrating for your teammates. You see your teammates failing. You want to go out there and help, but they know that they can't really switch up too much on their O-line. And They don't be getting cold out there. They should be doing some sprints, doing some warm-ups, because they got to get ready to put some
jumping,
fire into this defense once they finally get a hold.
Jumping, getting those heels up, getting the knees up, staying loose. But I do think they've also got to be supporting their top players out there. Just don't get cold when you get your turn, when you get your opportunity, make something of it. Be prepared for it. Don't be too cold. Don't be too stiff, whatever. You do what you got to do on the sideline and give the support, because the guys that do it the most, the upper echelon of the team, are the ones that should be out there.
I will say it's not looking good for my picks in the Eurozone podcast that I do with Liam Grant. We predicted this tournament before the weekend started. I said Freespeed was going to win. He said Chevy was going to win. We got both of them in the final, but so far things are looking pretty Liam Grant right now.
Yeah, it must mean he's smarter than you.
That's probably what it means.
Miglioretto with the disc. De Molinari. Forward Van Wassen.
Van Barsen there.
Miglioretto. De Molinari. He goes around. He's calling a foul. I knew that before it was even dropped. Penny is justifying his case, but I don't think he has too much of a case there.
Foul uncontested eventually.
Miglioretto throws behind Van Bassen.
And he's calling a foul there as well.
On the mark. There's no contest. There it was again.
I guess there's some contact there.
Well, everybody seems happy enough to let him keep the Frisbee in his hand, so let's let him. Van Bassen. Up high, has to get off his feet, is Bush. Van Bassen. De Molinari, hometown hero, trying to get things going. Van Bassen waits for PJ, he gets him. A little 1-2 action, and again. Now De Molinari, not quite throw to end zone. There is the throw to end zone behind Bush, but he gets it with a strong right hand, reached out. And Freespeed answer a long drought and finally put up their second point of the match at 7-2.
7-2 now, and I am curious, you know, we talked about those big rosters. Now they're in a hole, so are they going to trust their regular D-line players to go out there? Are they going to say, no, we need to have more top players to keep playing in order to try and get ourselves back into this game? But right now it looks like most of the O-line players coming off, which I think is the right choice. If you're going to win this game, you got to use your depth a little bit here, and you got to trust them to get some fire. But with that said, the only couple defensive points we have seen so far, they've just been trailing behind Chevron athletically, and they're going to have to really pull something out to try and slow down these boys in blue, because they are rapid, they are big, and they are hungry to win this Tom's Tourney final.
I wonder what they'll come with defensively speaking. I think because of the athletic mismatches and the wind direction, I don't know if a man is the right choice. They may come with a zone. I still like a man for turn generating, but they got to think long term here. Freespeed, they've got to try and stifle this offense, get them thinking about what they do, and a zone will do that. And we are looking at one.
And lucky for them, the wind has picked up a bit. We'll see if that can, the combination of the zone and this wind, slow down this Chevron offense.
Vinda winds up, but the foot block slows him down from releasing. Hammer, can't foot block that, has Bennett. What a throw. Bennett throws low, but it's picked up. Now throw to goal, that one looks good. Chevron answers again. Ollie with the goal, 8-2, a quick answer after a arduous break for Freespeed. That one is a head dropper for the opposition.
A throw from Joe Winder there. That was uncorked that crazy hammer.
Sideline to sideline, probably a 40-meter gainer with the side-to-side as well. Here it is. No, I don't want the flick hook. I will jack this thing to the other side of the world. And I got my boy Bennett to sit under it.
Bennett puts a low one there that Turner picks up off the ground.
Disky, Mines,
Douglas
and
Ollie
Cram. So please
finishes
go
the
to
business there. Cashes in the check.
spirit.tourney.be and fill up the spirit
So
of
what do
the
you think here
game.
about this first half, Stefan? Do you think Freespeed are going to be able to come back, claw their way back a little bit? Chevron looked pretty hot, pretty ready.
I'm an ever optimist for a good game. Do I think it can happen? Have we seen crazier things happen? Yes. Do I get the feeling based on the energy right now? No. I would love to see it. I'm, you know, I barrack for a good game always. It's great to see a good team do their thing, and they're putting on a classy show here, our Chevron. But yeah, I'd love to see it. Would I be so bold to make a prediction? No. If I was Freespeed, I'd be just, let's try and win the second half. And really in that, we're saying, let's try and find some momentum. Let's try and find something, but a smaller goal than trying to hype yourself up and trying to, you know, visualize the whole comeback in one chat.
At point for point, this is the best I've seen Chevron. Seen them a few games this weekend. They've had some close ones, actually. Universe point wins here and there, but managing to close the games out that they need to close out. Have been undefeated. Had a Universe point win over the Crack Dealers. Our friend Liam Grant was playing in that game. Back in pool play.
Or 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, we have a cap +2.
So we're now 30 minutes into a 60-minute game. 60 minutes is cap +2. If I were a betting man, I'd say this one's probably going to 15.
Looks that way now.
So Freespeed do get the offense here. And we see pretty much the regular offensive line: Miglioretto, Brudelin, Van Barsen, de Molinara, Elminger, Bush. All the players that we've grown to expect on this classic Freespeed offensive line. That is a big bladey pull there.
It's going to put a hole in the earth. Brudeling knocks it down before it goes too deep into the earth. Miglioretto. Bush fakes the forehand, comes back to Miglioretto. He winds up a big backhand. Brudelin's underneath it. He's got there. Didn't even have to lay out. Put on the afterburners and got past Dixon for the goal. They've done something about it in the early going of this first half. Let's see if that can provide the spark for further good news.
Again, like I said before, the connection, Luca Miglioretto throwing to Robin Brudelin, one we've seen time and time again for the past 10 years here on the Elite Ultimate scene in Europe. There, Brudelin getting the best of Dixon. Dixon, one of the most impressive athletes I've seen so far this weekend, so Brudelin really had to work hard for that deep cut. And look at that put, just beautifully into space. If he put it too floaty, Dixon might have had a shot at it, but he put it in the place where Robin Brudelin had to keep sprinting to get to it. Perfectly placed throw by Miglioretto. 8-3 now. That was a good momentum building play. The question is, how can they build off it? We have seen PJ here moving on to the D-line. Aside from that, typical D-line players sticking there for Freespeed, and Chevron's O-line that we've seen be very, very, very good. Likes of Doug Ollie, Colthammer. Don't see Winder on the field, so that'll be a bit of a difference, but Kime's up there.
Shockingly, and that pulls a great one. Does a wheelie around the end zone, and they've got to start in their own end zone. Kime moving 1-2 on the sideline with Cornelius. The open man far side begging for a hammer.
You see that's Doug Ollie back there. If Winder had the disc, I think he'd get it to him. I don't know if Chevron has another player that can make that kind of throw.
Bennett gets across to Turner. Playing in their own end still. The zone efficient right now, making them work, making them go side to side instead of north-south on this field. Hodgett. Oh, and the hand comes around. It was a wraparound kind of hand block.
Did he actually touch the disc? I thought it was just a turfed disc. I didn't see really the contact happen, but I could be wrong.
We may have another opportunity to see it. They're trying to work out the play themselves right now. Here it is.
Let's see here. So he wraps.
This right hand's gonna try, and I think he fouled him.
If he touched that disc, that's a foul. But it's going to be retracted, or no, it's going to come back. Don't see hand signals. See if that was
Body
contested
language
or
sells
not.
contested foul. But
And the very quick pass right away suggests that it wasn't a 0 stall count.
Bennett. Dump to Hodgett. Cornelius with the disc. Bennett again. Upfield, Colthammer. Chevron now looking good. 10-12 passes into this possession even after stoppage. Kime with the disc. He fires. Colthammer all alone. Don't want to leave that man all alone because he's going to do that to you. Throw it in the end zone. Sam Turner for the goal.
Chevron's offense looking good as ever. I think Freespeed had a good shot up until that stoppage. They were really forcing the disc back and forth, but eventually Chevron found their way through that cup, and once they got through, it was all over for Freespeed. 9-3 the score here. Chevron up by a huge margin at this point.
Chevron looking to get to points count.
Some frustration there from the Freespeed defender. You can see he's over there he was talking to Chevron, trying to explain why he thinks that wasn't a foul. He feels a bit cheated out of that one, but
We could tell him our perspective, but I don't think that would make him too excited to hear right now. Can wait till after the game, perhaps. Unless he asks, of course. I'm happy to let them know what we think.
he has run to the other sideline, so.
Running away from our opinions. Fleetwood Mac, Tell Me Lies. This was one of the jingles of the weekend. We heard plenty of that. Chevy pull. Freespeed mishandle it.
There was a touch on that disc too, so if it rolls out the side, I think he touched it. So
I'm not sure he did. I think it was an attempted touch, but I think it got away from him.
touch.
Let's see where they bring it in.
If he touched it, you have to take it
Yeah, surely
out
they're
back out
coming
end
back,
zone,
or
but they're
else
going
the
to the
defense
cone.
would be chasing him there. And Penny kicks the cone for him.
Rubenberg's rolling in his grave right now. He's not actually dead.
I know, I was gonna say, he's not even dead yet. But he doesn't sleep in a coffin either. Brutalin, Miglioretto, upfield to Bush. Van Bassen, hands up, pull, big hug to the end zone to Dixon, but he's on the other team. That was a huge defensive interception.
I think it was intended for Elminger, but he didn't see Dixon, the Freespeed player, going down there. Dixon with a huge play. Chevron coming back now to even widen their lead even further.
Simpson fakes the big, comes the other way. Dixon has been impressive with his legs upfield. That throw, a little bit less impressive than what he's been doing with the legs. Miglioretto. Forwards to Mashevic. Miglioretto. Lets it get away. It gets maxed, but way too far away for a second chance.
So Chevy, another chance here to bring themselves to double digits before Freespeed even scores 4. 9-3 the score here still for Chevron.
Forward, Simpson to the end zone. Dixon's there. Watch out for the soccer net. Oh my goodness, he did watch out. I think no soccer net there.
He would have
and
scored.
he would have made a play at that and had a chance at a toe drag.
I think it's better for him not to clobber himself and injure himself for the season and let that one go.
His good looks are worth more than that point right now.
See Toby Von Barson walking the disc up. Chevron coming out in a bit of a flat mark, a bit of a wall zone, trying to slow Freespeed down.
Miglioretto goes over top as he likes to do, and he's been let down again on the other end from Von Vatberg. And Chevy take a timeout.
Timeout here. Chevy's in good position to make another break and extend their lead. And it's just not working out for Freespeed. That was again another hammer that was dropped. I think the hammers are on. Luca's doing a great job of breaking open the zone with his throws. His teammates just aren't catching him, and it's just been like, it hasn't been the same player either. It's just like 3 or 4 players having one unforced drop, and that's just adding up to a big hole for Freespeed to deal with.
They're collectively letting him down.
Exactly.
And letting themselves down to that end. Obviously, big pressure makes those easy, not easy. Catching a big hammer in the wind's not even easy in-game in Ultimate as far as all the array of skill sets go, but it's expected.
At this level, it definitely should be expected with the teams that Freespeed have had to beat to get through here. Of course, we did also say they lost to Devon on Universe Points earlier in pool play. A team that I'm not sure made quarters.
Yeah, a couple head-shaking results over the course of this weekend.
That's what these short games will do, make things a little more exciting.
I think their most competitive game that I've seen anyways was the La Fota game, where they stayed in front the whole game, but La Fota clawed back 2 in a row to put it to Universe, and then Chevy slammed the door in the end. And I know they had the 2 other Universe points, but I would say that Universe point was when Chevron was playing at a bit of a higher level. Now they've found an even higher level, it seems. Trying to crack double digits. Morgan gets it to Dixon, off the hands, off the chest, back into the hands. Dixon, his last throw wasn't perfect, neither is this one.
Man's got very good skill with his legs, but he's got to work on his windy throws, I think. Chevron, of course, a team always trying to get up there and beat Clapham at UK Nationals and always coming up short. I think Clapham's won 18, I believe, of the last UK National Championships. Many of those being losses to Chevron, or being victories over Chevron, sorry.
An impressive string for Clapham, less impressive for Chevy, but still.
But I think one of the things that Chevron needs to do is stop these unforced errors, because they'll be able to get the dispatch from Freespeed, as Dixon does there with a huge defensive play.
Gets there quick. Mashavek put a pretty good looking huck from midfield to the far corner of the end zone.
So I do think there was definite contact after the play, and the argument could be made that Dixon couldn't have made that jump without having to force that contact. So that's what's being called right now. Robin Brudelin's getting involved on the call. There's an injury as well.
De Molinari quick to get on the field.
Maybe it was just an injury call.
El Miga, the man who made the call and left the field.
So I guess it was just an injury call there. And I think, yeah, he had to leave the field for that one.
Martin Hall now strutting to the line. Moved himself in off the cone there a little bit too, centering steps. Bevan, Dixon.
See if Dixon clean up his throwing here.
He gets a completion there on a big super dump to Bevan. Bevan putting his hands up saying, come on, give me something, guys. He throws a nice one to Martin Hall. Sat in the wind well for a short throw and back to Bevan. Bevan to Martin Hall. The Freespeed zone cutting at the middle, and now Dixon with disc in hand again. And not in the end zone. That one almost goes again, but it stays alive by Morgan. Martin Hall drops a sitter. Van Boston says, hey, I'm open here, and then elbows Bevan in the face on the scuba windup.
Bevan with a bit of a close mark there, to be fair. I don't, did he touch his face?
I don't know, that could have been like a NBA kind of reaction.
Refs aren't watching.
He's just got to win the crowd.
Something happened with his nose. Van Barsen now.
Van Bassen. Hand blocked, but surely a foul call there.
Yes, uncontested foul call.
To Molinari. Gets Van Basten again.
Oh, we saw the scuba grip come out, but it didn't come.
Put it away after he showed it. Van Basten again. Looks for the upfield, nothing there except picks.
Don't see a lot of movement from the downfield cutters. They're really trying to work it through with Van Basten, Luca Miglioretto, and Peter de Molinara pretty much exclusively. Chevy doing a good job of shutting down everything else downfield. And the disc movement a little slow. They're holding the disc for a really long time, allowing Chevy to break.
Brutalin. Oh, Mashevek has to put his hand over the shoulder to keep that play alive.
And at that point, he had drawn 2 defenders. I think Van Basten was all alone, but they weren't able to capitalize on it with any kind of gainer after that. Chevy doing a good job of recognizing the mismatch and then switching back, stopping it before Freespeed could capitalize.
Van Basten, shot for goal. Brutalin, pick.
There seems to be some kind of call that I don't think affected anything with that play.
Goal conceded based on Martin Hall's body language, but
some
Morgan
kind of conversation going on with Bush, and is that Morgan?
It is. Freespeed score. Delayed onset for the celebration.
9-4 the score here for Freespeed, for Chevron, sorry. Freespeed getting their 0 points in the second half. A lot stronger, a lot cleaner. They've scored as many as they scored in the whole first half, in the first 3 points. But whether they're going to be able to get a little break train going, that's going to be what they need if they want to come back in this game. And they're in a 5-point hole. By the way Chevy's playing, I wouldn't expect them to be able to get that big of a run, but we need to start with 1 break here.
Let's see what happens, 1 point at a time. But Freespeed's got some fresh legs out there.
I think we see the likes of Nico Miglioretto stepping onto the field. He didn't even have a jersey on, or he had like an extra jersey on before. I thought he was injured, maybe not playing, but he's seeing that his team really needs him here.
Here comes Chevron, Winder and Keim. Bennett says, I'm open, hit me.
Freespeed opting to go for just a man-to-man defense, not worrying at all about that zone, trying to win with their legs, trying to compete with Chevy on the athleticism battle. And here, Winder's going long for the catch. He's usually throwing them.
There's a little bit of a discussion there, but I don't see what the problem was.
I'm not sure.
Winder just blew him away downfield.
I think that he kind of threw the spike a little bit into the face of the player there, and he's a little shell-shocked by that.
It's a quick catch and drop spike adamantly towards the feet of the defender. Here's the replay. Keim tells Bennett to take some more meters. He does, and then winds up for Winder.
Definitely no travel on the throw there, and Winder, he catches that one, and you see the spike there. I think a little,
it bounced off his foot.
Looked a little aggressive towards the Freespeed player, so I think that's where it was. I don't think it was intentional at all, but
10-4 there, little fat buddy. Dukes a hazard score.
$10-4 for Chevron here. Freespeed have to keep knocking in those holds and hope they're going to manage to get a break, but
they need to start getting a break every 1 or 2 now. They can't save them all for the end when you get 6 to play. They need to kind of break one, hold one, break one, hold one, and even at that rate, the maths is probably,
they need to go on a little run. They need to go on a little run. Chevron only need 5 more points at most.
Break 2, hold 1. Van Basten with the disc. Mashevek, Van Basten. Miglioretto over the top. This time caught safely by Elmiga. one to continue, but finds De Mulinati. Robin Brudeling has a layout on his hip, but hangs onto the disc and throws it forward too far in front of Miglioretto, but there's something. Miglioretto's talking about a elbow cocking back as a foul.
It's an uncontested foul there. So Miglioretto will get to hold on to that disc. Try to get a 5th point here for Freespeed. If they can score this one, they will already do better than they did in the first half in terms of total points.
Miglioretto surveying options, goes for the big dump to Bush and back to Miglioretto. He's winding up Hammer. He's winding up everything, and he gives a bit of nothing. Penny walks onto one, chucks the whole length of the field, going the other way, near the sideline. Defense is there. Read better by Max Rex.
Max Rex, a name as we haven't seen as much so far this weekend, but making a big play there with Van Barsen on his heels.
Comes in and wrecks all hopes of comeback.
11-4 now. It's really getting late for Freespeed to start their run.
Oh, yeah.
That's another break. That was an O-line possession for Freespeed, so Chevy not done yet here.
It's like the neck just loosens up at this stage so the head can drop even further than you thought was biologically possible. But Freespeed doing what they can to try and keep those heads high. Walk into the line.
We play a game 60 minutes or the first till 15.
Then Boston not able to get the right read, didn't really get off his feet there. He worked so hard to try and turn his body and get into position, which he did, but by the time he got there, he didn't have a foot to put down to go up off of.
We still see most of that Freespeed O-line staying on this field, trying to clean things up for their team and hoping that their D-line can punch in a few for them. But they've got to get more holds for their D-line. I mean, I think they pretty much have to be clean from here on out. One more break, and I think it's pretty much over.
I already think it's over.
I'm not supposed to say that as commentators. People are going to turn off the stream, Steph.
Nah, they're still watching. This is a Tom's Tourney Boutique event tournament. It's great ultimate the whole way through. I think the result is set in stone, but I've been proven wrong with my predictions time and time again, so watch as Freespeed make me look foolish here. Fake hammer. Back to Mashevic. Mashevic, Van Basten. Van Basten into hand block.
Another mistake from the Freespeed offense. Things looked really good there when they opened things up, but just couldn't punch it in, and it's just that little mistakes from this team. That's all it's been, really. I don't even think it's really the Chevron defense that's causing them. Freespeed just not been on as an O-line.
Not at all. Morgan with the disc.
Very contrasted to their semifinal performance where they played against the Belgians, and there they were very, very on.
Big shot, Rollo Sachs Dixon. Had to be twice his size to get that one as it sails out of bounds. Haven't seen too much of Rollo Sachs Dixon this game either. That one is deep and connected upon, but Dixon was almost there for the D. Elmiga won the foot race. And Freespeed score, because I said it was over, of course they did. And they're gonna come back and play some defense, see what they can do to get these breaks.
Now, if you're a coach, do you try and stack the D-line now, or do you say, well, we're not going to be able to get so many in a row with our D-line. We're going to have to make the regular D-line get the break first and then try and throw some O-line guys on there. What's your strategy here if you're a coach?
Well, last game of the tournament, I'm playing stars for sure. If it's a final and my stars, you know, they're not telling me they want to take a break, I'm putting my best 7 for the job. And whether that's the same 7 on O&D, not likely. There'd probably be 3 or 4 difference. Depending on their team, there's usually 3 or 4 that are like, yes, these guys are on no matter what. If we're receiving, if we're pulling. But I'm milking as much as I can out of my top guys, and I want to communicate, and I want them to let me know. And where I do, I sub in a player or two to fill the gaps and help with the lungs and the legs. But yeah, it's not about you use the whole roster all weekend to get to here. When you get here, you use your best weapons.
Here we go, Chevron. Does seem like a very typical Freespeed D-line. They haven't started stacking things yet, so they're coming out in a bit of a zone to try and slow Chevron down. I think that's maybe the right call because in a one-to-one situation, haven't been able to slow Chevron down, but as I say that, Chevron, in a few passes, have almost made it to another score.
Coltama goes around and gets a nice throw off to Kime. I thought the defense had that on the mark, but I was wrong. Coltama wide open because of a pick. So Hodgett's gonna wait for the reset.
We're gonna have a one-to-one matchup here between Colthammer and Casper Mueller. I wonder if they're just gonna use that. I do think Colthammer could probably get the better of that one. If there's right now the thrower is completely unmarked. Wind picking up a little bit. Might make him hesitate a little bit, but no, it's gonna be an easy score to Colthammer, and that's gonna make things 12-5 here for Chevron. Really getting late in the game. I do think they're gonna get to 15 here. It's 55 minutes in. If they can score one more, it's a cap +2, so.
Playing a point cap. Not officially, but with the likelihood of these next 4 minutes that Chevy will score. At the rate they've been going, I'd have to say they're scoring once every 4 minutes.
We do see the wind starting to pick up. I'm starting to feel a few drops.
Not quite once every 4 minutes.
Come on, guys, give it up for Chevy!
And going back to the lines and put the people you put out there and who you select, I want to lean on my stars here. However, in a game like this where my stars have not done it, it's almost worth playing a point, putting on a full charity line, as I've been enlightened on the term, just to get the spark so the O-line can watch a point and be like, man, like we're getting our practice boys out there, our second liners out to get the job done. And the best case scenarios is the second line gets it done, and then you got your O-line with a bit more pressure to really pull their own weight.
I mean, this second half, it's been pretty good for the Freespeed O-line. They've been broken once, but not nearly the performance they had in the first half. It's the D-line that's been unable to get any breaks, and again, I think there's a very big difference between the level of the D-line and the O-line on this Freespeed team. And it will take bringing those O-line guys onto D-line to make something happen, but I think because of the number of points they played in the first half, they're not going to have the legs to be able to compete with Freespeed, to compete with Chevron, sorry.
Rain coming, people moving. Van Basten to Miglioretto. He gets the gain at Ellinger. Sideline action, Miglioretto gets a lefty pop pass and fires one to De Molinari. Get the score.
12-6, Freespeed staying about half the score of Chevron.
Double up.
Two minutes left, 2 minutes.
2 minutes left with most of the crowd piling out. I think they think this one's about done, and the rain's starting to come down. They don't really think this is worth checking out for the rest of the stream, but
probably
you guys at home,
the broadcast.
Yeah, you guys at home, you guys can just sit on your couch, enjoy the nice warm weather as we stand out in the rain and work for you here. We do see now the likes of Robin Bruderlin, PJ de Molinari, Toby Van Barsen-Busch. We see a lot of O-line guys stepping onto the D-line, Marco Elminger. So basically they're saying, all right, it's time. It's time to throw our big guns out there on D and see if we can get a break, because right now, the rest have been unable to do it so far.
Well, it's a decent time. Everyone thinks it's over. The crowd's leaving. Chevron's in auto mode right now. Maybe they can catch him off guard, steal a, I don't know, 5 in a row or something. Make it interesting. De Mulinati.
Rolling pull.
Winder to Kime. Bennett with a bit on his hip. Colthammer. Colthammer.
Travel call on Colthammer as he gets it over to Doug Ollie.
Colthammer again. Colthammer surveying options. De Mulinati on the mark. Bennett gets it. Inside, outside, almost saved, but not.
And this is a chance. We do have a lot of Freespeed O-line power on here. This could be the first break.
The time is over. Time is over.
As time expires.
Finish this point and add 2, so Freespeed manages to score this one. It'll be a game to 14. If Chevron score, it'll be a game to 15. Here, Colthammer snags it up and has a very short field to work with.
Colthammer again. Winder, that's the man they want to score the goals. Bennett gets it, wears it like a hat.
13-6, game to 15.
So we will go to points unless, well, we'll go to points no matter what.
We'll go to points.
We could go to points. If Freespeed were to win it too, we'd go to points, but that would take a long time.
Well, we'll stay out here as long as it takes for you guys back at home.
If they still got a pulse, we're gonna keep watching this one.
And if you leave the field, please take all the garbage with you and the chairs.
Great first tournament of the season, this Tom's Tourney, to kind of kick things off, get everybody re-engaged in the season, see who's coming out strong, see who's got new recruits, see who's running their old veterans, see who hasn't retired yet. Take a look at everything, assess the season.
Yeah, I'm missing a few of the big players here. We don't see the likes of Bad Skid or a Real La Fota team or Clapham, but some of the next level teams are here.
Yeah, and with Portugal going on as of tomorrow, that dilutes a little bit of the talent level as well, even though, like you said, some of the teams, the Clapham and Bad Skid particularly, don't come as squads. Some of the players that might be on the teams that do come, we're not getting everyone as well because of Portugal. Brutaling, which you guys will obviously be tuning into. Alti TV bringing you that too. They're doing it tough, they are. From Belgium to Portugal in a day. Getting you all the footage, cutting highlights, staying up late. Brutal in with the disc. He throws to end zone. He's got Van Basten. The Swiss have something to celebrate. It's 7-13.
One of the best offensive points we've seen in a while from the Swiss. That's 13-7.
Let's see how long they can make this game. That's all they want to do right now. Let's stay out here all night.
They got to get a break. They got to get that elusive break. I'm not sure they've broken Chevy yet this whole game.
Sometimes it's not even a matter of winning the game for Chevy, but not letting them win for Freespeed. They shouldn't even be thinking about winning themselves. Like, let's just not let them win. Let's make it as difficult as possible for them.
It's a point-for-point battle. You can't look at the whole thing. You got to look at it piece by piece, and then eventually maybe something will come together. First, they got to get a break, and they haven't been able to do that all game. They're putting PJ back out there. They're putting with a lot of young guys out there too, giving them this chance.
Here comes the pull. De Mulinati. Inside out. Float and settle. Schneider. Winder. Through Estevez. And to him again. Colthammer. Backhands. Back to Ollie. Big gainer there. Turner. Bennett. Chevron want to make this a little bit quicker than it might be. Winda reads it well, scores the goal. They're within 1 point of a championship at Tom's Tourney. Chevron looking the goods.
Chevron has just been the best team here in this game. They've had some struggles throughout the tournament, but they managed to win every game they've come across. It's going to be a big mental boost for them as they come into this season and look to see if they can upset Clapham this year at UK Nationals, see how far they can go with the EUCF. Most of these guys are not playing on the GB men's squad. They decided that it's a bit too Clapham heavy, and actually a lot of them are playing on GB mixed. A little bit of GB politics there. So they're not going to be maybe as focused on the EUC as some other teams are. Almost all their guys aren't playing men, so probably really, really laser focused this year on UK Nationals and EUCF, and this is a great start to that season.
Absolutely no better way to start a season than an undefeated championship. Regardless of the tournament, if you're at it, that's the most optimal result.
Especially finishing it off in such a commanding fashion here as they look to see if they can close things out, and we'll see if Freespeed's offensive line has something to say about that as Luca picks up the pull, gets it to Van Barsen.
And they are underway. Mashavik, Van Barsen. Bevan doesn't like where he ended up there and points him a step backwards. Van Barsen. Brutaling. Van Barsen. Stoppage.
Something has stopped for some reason.
Well, the rain has stopped, which we don't need a reason for that. It's a good thing.
I do see some blue skies upwind of us, so hopefully that's coming our way.
Oh, I hope so. I'll probably be on the train by the time they get here.
Got a long trip home tonight, Stefan?
Not too long. 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. Back to Paris.
It looks like there was an injury call downfield.
That makes sense. Everyone seemed confused at the point of the disc. Van Barsen trying to engage a couple players. Gets Miglioretto. He wants to throw a hammer, but goes for a full field flick instead. Bush is there, but would have had to have rocket boots on to get that one.
And then he would have had to greatest it back into the field even if he had them.
But that was the obvious part, no? So, Chevy, championship point in hand. Penny struts to the disc to see if he can start things off.
Pretty strong line out there for Chevy. You got Sax Dixon, you got Dixon.
Those are a couple of big Dixons.
Yeah, you got Bevan, you got Penny. A lot of big players here, so they have the legs to do it if they get things going here. Dixon seeing if he can clean up his throwing. He was having a bit of an issue with that this game, but that one goes off well.
Safe to Davin. Davin looks, Sax Dixon is just hanging out in that backfield, trying to make eye contact with anyone with disc in hands.
He's got a big height mismatch there. If a disc just goes up high for him in the right place, he can probably come down with it, even if it's contested.
Just keep it in the field.
He's definitely not 100%, but he can still get up.
Here we are, back in play. Davin winds up, fakes, gets Bevan coming around near sideline. Bevan gains meters. Now they're really close to the score.
Travel
Leak
is called. Travel
went
is called.
back,
Travel
but it was a
is called.
travel before it left Bevan's hands. Or by the time it left Bevan's hands. Bevan, disc is in. Looking for his cut. Penny coming all the way across. He gets it to him. Center of the field next to the logo. Penny does go around even though the defense said not to. Van Basten gobbles it up, sends it the other way. Brutaling's there, long jumps in. It ain't over yet.
They're 14-8 there. I think Penny's going to call him on the line. From my perspective, it was pretty in.
Bevan telling him to call it in, and he said, it's not.
We'll get a nice slow motion replay here. See if Penny was right or if everyone else was right.
everybody wants it to be a goal because it's a 7-point lead, but you're still supposed to call it by the way of the rule.
Here we see the D by Von Barson getting up big. Now, what's he going to be? I guess we're not going to see the replay of the
We
throw.
have 40 points for Chevron, 8 points for Freespeed, and the sun is back on field 1, the final field of Tourney 2019.
So 14-8 there for Freespeed. That one's going to count. Here we're going to get to see the huck. Now there's the big D play again. Are we going to get to see the continuation here? There's the throw. Now here's
Watch
Rob.
the feet, watch the feet.
Clearly in. Oh.
Not so clearly in.
Oh.
Penny may have had the best eye on that situation.
He might have gotten his toe in front of the line, but that was a lot closer than I thought it was.
The heel seemed to have come down on the line.
Let's see if we can see it any better from this.
But his toe was down first.
Which foot comes down first?
You see toe touches first and then heel.
I don't think it was in.
Well,
I don't think it was in. I thought it was clearly in from live, but I don't think he was in on the replay.
Actually, second replay, I do think he is. Because that foot touched chalk, but I think his toe touched green, and then his heel touched the chalk as it
was
came
pretty
down.
close.
It was very, very close.
Pretty close.
Penny definitely a case to be calling it, despite his captain calling him off. All right, Winder now.
I'm sure he's going to be showing them our comments about this play later on in the WhatsApp group.
Winder, winding up. Kime, Winder. Winds up. Engages Kime, gets it to him and gets it straight back. That first step again of Winder's I really love. He gets off and moving quick. That one goes through Douglas Ollie. And I knew that was going to happen quickly. I just wish it happened with a bit more flatness.
That throw was not exactly what he was looking for, I think.
Not at all.
Bush had steps and had space. They caught Chevron off guard with that turn. The O-line hasn't had too many turns yet this game.
Here they come, Ollie. And Chevron to Winder. Pick called. Disc is in. Kime fakes the big, gives the big. Bennett is there. Can he milk it in? Championship point. Chevron action flash this year's Tom's Tourney Open Division 1 champions in emphatic fashion. They've gone and crushed Freespeed to a tune of 15-8. It's been a wonderful weekend here in Bruges, Belgium. Tom's Tourney, the 27th edition. Your champions of the Open Division Chevron Action Flash. Been joined here today with Ravi Vasudevan. We've had a wonderful time. Make sure you check out Eurozone. There'll surely be some wrap-ups or some news coming after Tom's Tourney and Portugal. Lots of European Ultimate news, so stay plugged on to Ravi and company for that.
Thanks, Stefan. It's been a pleasure. And that wraps up Tom's Tourney 2019.
We'll see you at the next one. All the best from Multi-TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. From the UK, Manchester, the winner of Tom's Tourney 2019, Chevron! For the prize ceremony, we go to the big white tent. And we need some players from the Freespeeds. All the Freespeed players come to the music. Take your chairs with you, take your garbage with you, even if it's not yours.